Hey, it's Michael V. Moore, aka McVinny, aka Mr. Travel Fitness. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about what I was talking about a couple weeks ago, but I just want to further combine two previous videos. So a couple weeks ago I talked about pivoting when life doesn't go as planned. So when you get these distractions in your life, how you basically have to pivot and change your direction. And I also talked about the Velocity Diet during my previous video. So the Velocity Diet is this meal plan slash workout plan designed by the folks at tnation.com. They sell biotest products, and basically it's a clever way of getting you to use their products, but it's actually a fat loss diet plan that basically teaches you how to just basically drink shakes every day and have like one meal a day. So at the end of the day, what you have is like a reduced calorie diet with a solid meal plan, emphasizing protein and making sure that you get healthy nutrients into your body, pretty much. And so that's what it is in a nutshell. For those who just see the diet plan and see the pictures of the big guy who lost all that weight, or ripped people, they look at that aspect of the diet. So when I tried it in the past and I lost a couple pounds, and then I was doing it for the last couple of weeks coming from food poisoning. So I had a lot of chaotic stuff happen in my life the last couple of weeks. But as I was doing the Velocity Diet, I did see a lot of results very, very quickly. So in my first week, I lost between, I think, almost like 10, 11 pounds that first week. And then I gained 2 pounds back. But overall, I lost, a good 4.5 pounds in the 2-week average. So everything was fine and dandy. A couple holidays came along, or I should say a holiday came along, and I ended up putting a little water weight back on, which is expected, because if you eat, cookies or cake or whatever, you're going to put that water weight back on, which is no big deal. So I got back on the plan, no problem, and it was kicking butt. And then one morning I woke up and I saw that I finally got under 199 again, because right now I was just trying to get down to between 192 and 195, and I started the plan around 210, if I believe correctly. So I was going the right path. Then lo and behold, on that marvelous day, I got this severe neck pain. I woke up where I could not even move my neck. I physically had to move my neck in order to move my neck and move my head around. It was very, very bad. So on my Instagram page, I actually showed this bizarre injury. I still don't know what exactly happened. Obviously, I'm a lot better today, so I'm able to move my neck. But what happened was I had to get completely off the diet because I had to take some actual strong medication. The calories and drinking protein, I'm a person, I don't like to do that type of stuff. That's why I'm not a big supplement person to begin with. But I definitely know for me, when I take medicine, because I'm a pretty healthy person. It's weird, this last month I had a couple random stuff pop up in my life that caused me to get injured, which caused me to have to pivot what I want to do, so to speak. And so when I was taking this medication, I actually had to eat solid foods. And I had to eat a lot of carb-enhanced foods because these pills, they mess with my stomach. And I need to make sure that I have substance in my stomach. So I did eat a little carb-induced stuff. So what happened, of course, is the weight went up. So now that the neck pain is gone as of today, what I have to pretty much do is come up with my next plan. So the Velocity Diet was written for like 28 days. And then you have this transition period afterwards to get you used to getting back towards, I guess you could say, like a normal eating style where you're not depending on liquid supplements for 4 to 5 meals every day. So for a lot of people, they'll get off a diet like this and they'll automatically go back on a regular eating routine, which will cause you to gain a lot of weight. And that's kind of like what happened to me. Is I knew this would happen, but I was injured pretty badly, and I needed to make sure I took care of my health first. So it's all good. So I'm back. So this is where I'm at right now. Is I had a plan, stuff went wrong, life happens, and now I could not do the plan. So I was hoping to do it for 28 days. I made it to 24 days before I got hurt. And so for me, I'm not going to continue to plan as written. It's now time for me to pivot and actually come up with my own transition plan, kind of to highlight getting towards where I wanted to go, which was to 195, 192 mark. and also continuing to build good eating habits. But now I have a new obstacle in my way, because one of the things I haven't been sharing with folks is I'm actually moving, in the process of moving from my current house. So yes, this lovely place I've been broadcasting from, I won't be here in a couple weeks from now. So that means I have a lot of stress. And so that also means I'm going to be packing, I'm going to be moving around, and that means my lifestyle has definitely changed. So that's what I want to share with this, is kind of how to pivot and how I probably should go forward. And this is a very good message, especially for those out there who travel all the time. Because when you travel, a lot of people don't have realistic workout routines. They don't understand how to create a program or a lifestyle that supports what they're going to be doing in the future. So the first thing you need to do is kind of just sit down and actually know where you are right now and where you're trying to go. So in my case, I'm trying to get down to 195. Why? I really don't care how much I weigh, but I'm trying to lose a certain amount of fat before I go on this year-long muscle building plan. So for me, it's easier just to lose as much fat as possible while maintaining my muscle and maybe gaining a little muscle. So that's my real overall goal. And since I'm so close to that goal, it makes more sense for me to keep going towards that goal instead of going on that year-long muscle bulk right now, because I like to put a little more muscle on my body. Again, I really don't care how much I weigh. But that's my goal. So you really need to sit down and understand what your goal needs to be or where you're trying to go to. And then on top of that, you need to figure out how long you're trying to get on this plan. Because some people think they're going to have results in like 4 instant weeks. So for instance, me, I was on the Velocity diet for 4 weeks. And I set a goal for those 4 weeks, but I understood I had a plan after the Velocity diet was over, because if I did not meet that goal, that was okay. I was going to add more weeks to the plan and until I got to my goal. So now that all this real random stuff happened, I now have to plan for my new plan, which did not involve me moving a couple of weeks ago, and now it has to involve me moving. So there's a lot of moving parts. And so if you're like a person that's traveling, you know you're going to be on the road all the time. You need to make sure that whatever plan you have is going to be you're going to be able to do that not only when you're at home, but also when you're on the road. So the first thing to do, I would say, is really just sit down and know your schedule. Think about a month. What does the next month look like? Are you going to have a couple trips? Are you going to go on vacation? Because it's summertime a little bit here in the United States. We're just getting ramped up. June is here. And you might go on vacations. So when you go on a vacation, do you have a plan for those vacation times? Are you just going to sit there and stuff yourself? No, you got to make sure you have plans, okay? So for me, 195, I understand that. That's where I'm trying to go towards. So I'm good. So lucky for me, I had a really good solid training program that was getting me results. So that's what you need to look at. Like the program you were doing, is actually giving you results? Is it actually help you go towards your goal or away from your goal? If it's going away from your goal, you need to stop. Just stop. It might be time to do something else. Whether that's the way you've been eating or the way you've been training. 9 times out of 10, you need to focus on what you've been eating, because that matters more than how you've been training. Because if you're eating right, that takes care of 80% of getting towards your goal. And I can preach and preach and preach, hallelujah, and all that good stuff. But most people ain't going to hear that. They'll spend more time focusing on their training program than the eating program. So that's when you sit back and you just basically analyze what you've been eating and come up with obvious habits, okay? So if you've been really good, you should have been at least acknowledging or journaling the past couple weeks, past couple months, and coming up with actual ideas for, oh man, this is a bad behavior right here. Maybe I shouldn't be doing it. And so you know when you do bad stuff and how that escalates to bad eating habits. So it's good to always just make a note of when you are in a situation and you're trying to derail yourself, basically. You're off your diet plan, you start overeating. So it's good to acknowledge all that stuff, because a couple of weeks from now, you can look at that journal or however you're taking notes and actually see that, okay, if I keep doing that, that's what happens. I end up gaining 5 pounds, I end up gaining 10 pounds, or I end up feeling too sick to go to the gym or something like that. So it's good to always keep that data points and all that stuff. So I highly suggest you check out my first book called Release the Beast, Conquer Mental, Physical, and Diet Challenges to Unleash the Champion Inside. Inside that book, I give you exactly step-by-step details on how to conquer the mental aspects of everything and how to set up yourself for the long term. And a lot of people don't realize it's a mental game, but it is definitely a mental game involved in getting on your program, okay? Because it's very frustrating. Think how frustrated I am where I was kicking ass, and then all of a sudden, all this other stuff popped up. And it's so easy just to get deflated by that. But no, if you have a good mindset, you will understand how to overcome that mental challenge, and then on the physical challenge, and then the diet challenges as well to get towards where you want to go. So once you have a plan, once you have an idea of what kind of derail you, and then you set forth a good nutrition plan as well, that's when, after all of that stuff, that's when you should start focusing on your workout, because that stuff comes first, because you got to understand how you got to where you are right now. And too many people don't spend the time to do that. So again, if you have no idea how to do all that stuff, Release the Beast. It's on Amazon. Just go out there and check it out. It's barely probably under $5 depending on what country you live in. I mean, it's a cheap book, and it teaches you how to do all this stuff. Like, it's a no-brainer. So after that, that's when you then come up with your training program. And your training program, yeah, again, you got to make sure that the training program is geared towards where you're trying to go. So if you're trying to lose weight, you should be making sure that your training program is geared towards burning calories, doing lots of movements, not just lifting heavy weights and taking like 10 minutes of rest and only working out like twice a week or something like that. Those two goals don't necessarily line up. Yes, it's true. You can gain strength and lose weight at the same time. I know, because that's what I was doing as well. But there's more to your training program than just that. Obviously, nutrition takes care of most of it, but you still got to make sure that your goals match up with your training style. Just like a person who's trying to get very strong, it makes no sense for them to be doing a workout routine with like 10 seconds of rest in between sets. It doesn't make sense, because you need more rest if you're trying to get stronger, because that's the way the body works. So again, just make sure that everything's lined up. It's just like if you're traveling or something like that, you know you're not going to have access to barbells 24/7. So why does your program call for nothing but you to do deadlifts and squats, like heavy squats? That makes no sense, because you're most likely going to be put in a traveling situation where you won't have access to any of that. So really think about all that aspects of all your training plan and your nutrition plan, all that. It has to all make sense. And yeah, you just got to make sure that everything makes sense, because it drives me crazy when people always ask me how to lose weight or how to gain weight or how to do this and that, but they have no idea how to just start with the basics and get the basics done, and making sure that their current lifestyle that they're doing is actually supporting whatever they want for their goals. Okay. So I apologize. I was hoping when I came out this video, I kind of give my Velocity diet results and have these great charts and everything, and prove that, hey, the Velocity diet can work for travelers, can work for normal folks and everything like that. But because of what happened to me, I kind of have to pivot now, and I'm going to actually come up with a new little workout routine for a couple weeks, just to continue the momentum I originally had while doing the Velocity diet, but not trying to completely do a 180 and do something completely different. I kind of want to have a nice little transition period from the Velocity diet, because there was some very good points from the Velocity diet, as far as I now know that the calories I was eating on Velocity diet was probably a little too little, because my body started rejecting having been in such a calorie deficit. My second and third weeks, I wasn't losing weight as rapidly, because my body was in survival mode, and it's like, no, we gotta keep what's here, because we lost way too much weight too quickly. So I know my calories needs to be bumped up just a little bit, so my body is okay with that constant weight loss. So that was the biggest thing I learned from the Velocity diet. So that's going to be part of my plan for these next couple weeks. So I know all this because I was journaling all this. I had documentation of how many calories are going in my body. So I have a good idea of how many I need to maintain my weight as well as lose my weight. So that's getting a little more advanced right there. I'm just going to stop right there. So if you're watching this video, I hope you found it useful. And again, if you had no idea I was a best-selling author or anything like that, please go to Amazon, check out my book, look me up, Michael V. Moore, Release the Beast. That was the first book, and I think that will help a lot of you out there get those first stages completed and help you plan and get towards where you got to go. I'll catch you next time.